This conference will now be recorded.
Sorry. Okay, ma. Good evening, everyone. Hanaga, Asha, Prema Kumari, Maunya, Vidish. Okay, ma. Today we are going to discuss about the next topic of the biomolecules. Already we discussed about the biomolecules of proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids. And here today we are going to discuss about the nucleic acid. These are also a type of the biomolecules because these are the mixtures of the proteins and also phosphorus containing organic acids. Here we are discussing about the nucleic acid here that containing the basic proteins and also containing the organic acids, and that are of mainly phosphoric acids are present, and that are the type of the biomolecules, and these are the major constituent of living organisms. These are the major constituent of living organisms. Okay, and I think you know about the basic structures of all these nucleic acid, but we are revising that one. Okay, some points we will you can gain. And here, these are the biopolymers or the small biomolecules. And these are these are occupying major portions of the living organisms. Because here, the hereditary information and that is passed from one generation to another generation, and that is mainly conveyed by the nucleic acids. Okay, hence, and these are considered as the biopolymers and small biomolecules, and mainly these are composed of nucleotides, and that means the basic components that are forming the nucleic acids or the main constituents called as the nucleotides. And here these nucleotides are acting as a monomers here, and that containing majorly three components, and that are of mainly 5 carbon sugar, phosphate group, nitrogenous base. These are the major components of nucleic acids, and that means these are existing in the form of polymers and that containing monomeric units, and these monomeric units and that consisting of mainly three components, and that is 5 carbon sugar, phosphate group, and nitrogenous base. And here, depending upon the presence of sugar, here 5 carbon molecule is present and 6 carbon one is present. And depending upon the carbon chain of the sugar, here that sugar is of ribose type and deoxyribose type. And if the sugar and that is of ribose means, and that polymer is called as a RNA or ribonucleic acid. Whereas if the sugar and that is derived from the deoxyribose sugar, and that polymer is called as the deoxyribonucleic acid. And these are the major forms of the two types of nucleic acid. And these nucleic acids, these are existing in the form of polynucleotides. Polynucleotides. Here, the monomeric units composed of nucleotides. Here, that polymeric nucleotides all forming the structure called as the nucleic acid structure. And what is the significance of nucleic acid? Here, this is the major part of the all biomolecules. That means it is mainly present in living things. and that is mainly responsible for the transmission of character. And whereas here, and that transmission of character encoding genes, and that are mainly present in the nucleus of every living cell. The nucleus contains mainly chromosomes, and that chromosomes are mainly responsible for the passing of genetic information, and that chromosomes mainly consisting of a structural and functional unit, and that is called as the gene. And that genes and these existing in the form of nucleic acid, and that the character is transferred in the form of nucleic acid, that is the genetic material. Okay, and that means here sometimes inside of the nucleus encoding genes that are responsible for the transmission of character, and sometimes extra nuclear genes are also responsible for the transmission of character, and that type of inheritance that is called as the extra nuclear inheritance. And in that some organelles are responsible for the inheritance of character, and that is another type of inheritance that is called as the cytoplasmic inheritance. I think you know about that cytoplasmic inheritance. And what are the organelles responsible for the cytoplasmic inheritance, ma? Anyone? Yeah, mitochondria. Nucleus is responsible for cytoplasmic inheritance. Mitochondria. And what are the semi-autonomous organelles? Yeah, chloroplast and mitochondria, and that are mainly responsible for the extra nuclear inheritance. Here, the transmission of character, and that is encoded by cytoplasmic genes means here, and that majorly mitochondria and chloroplast are responsible. Okay, here we are discussing about the nuclear pattern, that means nucleic acid, that means here, and that are located in the nucleus. Okay, and that are mainly responsible for conveying of information from one generation to another generation, and that information is conveyed in the form of nucleic acid sequence, that is conveyed in the form of nucleic acid sequence, and that is providing the ladder step ordering of nucleotides within the molecules of RNA and DNA. That means here, that ladder step means here arranging of nucleotides, that is encoding the genetic material, and that is called as the ladder step here. The ladder step is mainly responsible for forming the nucleic acid structure, that means the arrangement of nucleotides in the form of polynucleotides, and that is the main significance of nucleic acids. And here these nucleic acid, these are storing the information and also transmitting the information, and these are mainly responsible for expressing the hereditary information. And here the hereditary information, and that is mainly conveyed in the form of genetic material, and that is mainly in the form of ribonucleic acid, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, RNA. These are the major types of the genetic material, and this DNA then it is copied to mRNA, and then it is copied to proteins, and that is the main central dogma of life. Here the formation of mRNA from DNA, and from mRNA to protein, and that is that information is encoded in the form of mainly proteins. And for that here, the structural and functional unit that is mainly responsible for the encoding of information is gene. That means here the protein information, proteins means here the amino acid sequence of a polypeptide, and that is mainly programmed by a special unit of inheritance, and that is called as the gene. Here different hypotheses are present for the of information, that is one gene one product hypothesis, one gene one polypeptide hypothesis, one gene one enzyme hypothesis, and these can that means these are coming under the molecular biological concept. That means here mainly the gene is mainly responsible for conveying of the information that is in the form of amino acid sequence. And what are the genes and what are the structures that are present in the genes? Here genes are made up of mainly DNA. That means here the nucleic acid, that is DNA, is present in genes, and these are arranged in the form of nucleotides. And when number of number of nucleotides are arranged in the form of ladder, means that is forming the polynucleotides, and that forming the DNA molecules. Okay, and that is the main one. Okay, actually in the chromosomes, sorry, in the nucleus, the genetic material is in the form of chromatin structure. That means the chromosomes are arranged in a manner called as the chromatin network. Here some models are defined the chromatin structure. Okay, and here in that chromatin, nucleosomes are the basic units for forming the chromatin structures. Nucleosomes are the major units for forming the chromatin structure. Observe this one ma here. This is the nucleus. This is the nucleus. That means here the nucleus contains the total genetic information. Okay, and that means that is resided in the form of chromosomes. And what are the chromosomes here? These chromosomes containing genes. These chromosomes containing genes, and the genes containing nucleotides that are arranged in the form of DNA. And here, and the major units that are responsible for this is nucleosomes, and that is mainly forming the chromatin structure, the arrangement of nucleosome, and that is giving the chromatin structure. And that should be associated with some proteins called as the histone proteins. Histone proteins, and these are the basic proteins. Histones are the basic proteins, and that are mainly rich in lysine and arginine, that are the main basic amino acids. Okay, and here that means here the functional unit of the genetic information that is mainly resided in the chromatin, and that chromatin is contains a many number of genes, and these genes, these contains the nucleotides. And these nucleotides, what are the components that are present in nucleotides? What are the components present in nucleotides, ma? The components present in nucleotides. Good. Nitrogenous base, phosphate, and sugar. And that are the major component. Good. Bicarbon, sugar, phosphate group, nitrogen. Good, Asha, Vidushi. Okay. Here, and that means here the nucleotide contains nitrogenous bases. And what are the nitrogenous bases? And we will discuss that one. Okay. And that are the different types of nitrogenous bases are present. And next here, two types of nucleic acids are present, and that are called as the deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid. And here this DNA, that is the deoxyribonucleic acid, and that is mainly provides its direction for its own replication. And what is meant by replication, ma? What is meant by replication? Yeah, making copy of its own. Okay, that is called as the replication, and different modes are present in the replication. That is a semi-conservative replication, conservative replication, duplicate replication. That are the different modes are present, dispersive ones. Okay, and that are the different types of replication process. Here, first it has to copy its own DNA, and that process is called as the replication. Then it has to synthesize mRNA, and that process is called as the transcription process. And then here, by using the mRNA, it's synthesizing its proteins. That is the amino acid sequence is synthesized by using the mRNA based ones. Okay, and that process is called as the translation process. And here, that protein synthesis and that mainly occurs on ribosomes. Ribosomes are the major units that are mainly responsible for the protein synthesis. Okay, and here, what is the difference between DNA and RNA? The major difference between DNA and RNA is the pentose sugar. Here, RNA contains the pentose sugar as the ribose sugar, whereas the DNA contains deoxyribose sugar. Deoxyribose sugar. Here, observe the structures now. Here, oxygen is replaced. That is, deoxyribose is forming. Okay, and this is the major difference between deoxyribose and ribonucleic acid. Okay, and here how the structure of DNA is present, how the molecule, how the packing, the sugar packing, or how the base pairs are arranged, and that is forming the backbone structures. Okay, and how these are arranged means this is the structure, and that mainly explains the arrangement of nucleotides and arrangement of DNA. Okay, here, and that mainly consists of the sugar units and phosphoric acid residues, and it contains the nitrogenous bases. And here the major backbone and that is present in nucleic acid is the sugar phosphate backbone. Sugar phosphate backbone is the major backbone that is forming the genetic material, whereas the nitrogenous bases are embedded in the structure of this sugar phosphate backbone. Okay, and here different types of nitrogenous bases are also present. Okay, this is a just normal structure. We will discuss the how the structure is arranged also. And here this is a deoxyribonucleic acid that containing the different base space. And what are the different base space here present? Here mainly two types of the nitrogenous bases are present, and that are called as the purines and pyrimidines. Purines and pyrimidines are the major base pairs, nitrogenous base pairs. And here in the purines, adenine, guanine are forming the purines, whereas cytosine, thymine, uracil, and these are called as the pyrimidines. And these are the structures of the nitrogenous bases. And also here the nitrogenous bases, these are bonding with the hydrogen bonds. Here, adenine forms the bonding with the thymine with two bonds, whereas the guanine forms the hydrogen bonding with cytosine with three bonds. Okay, and that is the major pattern that is occurring in the nitrogenous bases. Okay, and here these are the nitrogenous bases. And next, here, actually, what is the process that is occurring in the nucleus here? First, here DNA has to be synthesized and then mRNA has to be synthesized by using the base information of DNA, and then it has to synthesize the protein. And up to this, to the up to the mRNA formation here, nucleus is the major organelle that is responsible for synthesizing the genetic information. Okay, next, the protein sequence, that is the amino acid sequence, and that is synthesized mainly in the cytoplasmic region. cytoplasmic region. And that means here the ribosomes are mainly responsible for the synthesis of proteins. Okay, and here what is happening here? DNA first duplicated and next it causing the synthesis of mRNA, and that means here nucleus synthesizing the mRNA and then it is transported into the cytoplasm, and here the ribosomes are the main organelles that are mainly responsible for the synthesis of protein, and that synthesizes the information in the form of amino acid sequence that is called as the polypeptide. Okay, and here, coming to the components of nucleotides that contain the nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and one or more phosphate groups. And this is the major structure regarding this. Here, this is the sugar phosphate backbone. Here, the blue colored one is the sugar phosphate backbone, and that is attaching with the nitrogenous bases. Okay. And here in nitrogenous bases, here in this, it forming the nucleotides, the basic units of nucleotides here. In this, if the phosphoric acid residues are absent means, and that are called as the nucleosides. Actually, nucleotides or the phosphoric acid esters of nucleosides. That means here at the position of fifth carbon, that is here, this is the position, this is the position, this is the fifth position of carbon, and that contains mainly phosphoric acid residues, and is containing phosphate at position 5 prime position, and these are called as the nucleoside 5 prime phosphates. Up to this is called as the nucleosides. Okay, that means here the nitrogenous base with sugars. Whereas if the phosphoric acid residues means absent means that are called as the nucleoside. And when these are attached with the phosphoric acid residues means that are forming the nucleotides. And that forming the nucleoside monophosphates, nucleoside diphosphates, nucleoside triphosphates, and that can be formed by the nucleotides. And here this is a major sugar phosphate backbone. And here, and that is synthesized from 5 prime to 3 prime direction. 5 prime to 3 prime direction. Actually here this is the pentose sugar. Normally the pentose sugar is mainly present in the nucleic acid. And this pentose sugar, it occurs in non-planar structure. It occurs in non-planar structure. And that non-planarity, and that is called as the puckering of sugar residues. Puckering of sugar residues. And that means here the pentose ring, and that can be puckered in two basic conformations. Here this is the sugar unit. This is the sugar unit, and it exists in non-planar conformation. And this non-planar conformation is called as puckering. And this puckering exists in two conformations. And one conformation is called as the enveloped conformation, and the other one that is called as the twisted conformation. Twisted conformation. And in this envelope, what is envelope? What is twisted means here? In this, here the pentose sugar means that contains how many number of carbon units, ma? Pentose sugar means that contains how many number of carbon units? Yeah, 5 number of carbon units. In the enveloped form, the 4 carbons of the pentose sugar are existing in coplanar structure. The 4 carbon, these are the 4 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that means the first 4 carbon that are existing in coplanar structure, and the fifth one, and that is present away from the plane, and that conformation is called envelope conformation. Envelope conformation. Whereas another conformation is present in that the three atoms are existing in coplanar and the other two lie away on the opposite sides of the plane. Okay, understood ma here? That means here depending upon the carbon atoms twisting, these conformations are present. Here C1 is present, C2 is present, C3, C4, C5. Mainly 5 carbon atoms are present. And that are indicated in the form of prime. Prime. That means in the superscription we indicate as the line form. That is called as the prime conformation. Okay, here, and that means here that twisting of this carbon, that is the second carbon and the third carbon, the second carbon and the third carbon, and that are mainly responsible for forming these conformations, and that conformations are called as Puckering units, and that existing in two conformations, and that are called as the envelope conformation and twisted conformation. In the envelope conformation, the 4 carbon atoms of the pentose sugar are existing coplanar, and one carbon, the other remaining carbon is away from the coplanar state. Whereas in sorry, twisted conformation, the 3 atoms are existing in coplanar and the other 2 lie away from the outside. That means these are situated on the opposite sides of the plane. Okay, and these are mainly due to the second carbon and third carbon twisting. This is mainly due to the second carbon and third carbon. Okay, and sometimes, and this sugar puckering, and that can be endotype and also exist in exotype. That means endopuckering is there and also exopuckering is there. And what is endopuckering and what is exopuckering means? Endopuckering means the second carbon and the third carbon, these are on the same side as the base, and that 4 prime bond and 5 prime bond. Here this is the fourth carbon one. This is the fourth carbon one, and here this is the fifth carbon one. Yeah, here if these are lying on the upper side, that means the second carbon and the third carbon, and that are lying on the upper side, that is called as endopuckering. These are on the same side as the base. Same side as the base. Where the base is situated, here these carbons are situated on that side, and that is called as the endopuckering. Whereas exopuckering means, and that causes a shift in the opposite direction. That causes a shift in the opposite direction, and that are called as the endopuckering and exopuckering. Understood, ma? That is the sugar puckering. Here, sugar that contains mainly 5 carbons. Depending upon the carbon twisting, here these types of conformations are present. That is the first one is the enveloped conformation, and the second one is the twisted conformation. And next, here these are occurring in endopuckering and exopuckering. Okay, and that is the sugar puckering. That is the conformation of sugar. Okay, and that contains the phosphoric acid. That means the 5 prime carbon that is attached with the phosphoric acid residue by ester bond. Okay, and here these are the nitrogenous bases that contains the nitrogenous bases, and these are the basic structures of the nitrogenous bases, and that are the cytosine, thymine, uracil, and adenine, guanine. And what is the structural name of adenine? Anyone? What is the name of this adenine? 5-aminopurine. Is it 5? Pavunya, Asha, is it 5 ma? Adenine, that is 6 aminopurine ma. This is not 5. 6 aminopurine. Here from the first. Here this is the numbering. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we have to give the numbers like this. That is 6 aminopurine. Good. Mavunya, sorry, Vidushi. Okay, next, what is the guanine name? Guanine. Guanine. This is the first one. This is the second carbon. Third. 2 amino. Yeah, 2 amino. Next here, double bond O. That means that is called as the, yeah, good. 2 amino. Here this is the 2. Second carbon containing the amino group. That is the 2 amino 6 oxypurine. Not 4 ma. Count the numbers here. Here, this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. This is the sixth one. Sixth one. 2 amino 6 oxypurine. That is called as the guanine. Whereas coming to cytosine, cytosine. One amino 6 oxypyrimidine. Is that correct? How will you give the numbering for pyrimidines, ma? For pyrimidines. Is that correct? Two amino 4 oxy. For which? Actually for pyramids, this is the direction ma. Here from starting here, this is the one position. Okay, this is the second position and this is the third position and this is the fourth position and this is the fifth position. Okay, and this is the sixth position. Then, what is the name? A cytosine. This is the first one, ma. Here, from starting here, this is the starting position for naming the pyrimidines. Yeah, good. 2-oxy, 4-aminopyrimidine. That is called as the cytosine. Whereas thymine, for thymine, for thymine. Yeah, 2,4-dioxy at fifth position amino group is there. 5-methyl, yeah, 2,4-dioxy 5-methyl pyrimidine. That is called as the thymine. And next, uracil. Uracil. 2,4-dioxypyrimidine. Yeah. Okay. All of you understood the naming, ma? Mavunya, good. Srivali, okay. Anaga, is it clear? Vidushi, okay. Here for purines, here for naming of the purines here, this is the numbering. That means here the starting number. Here we have to start from here. And whereas for pyrimides, here this is the position. Okay, for starting carbons. Okay, and these are called as the purines and pyrimides. Here purines are adenine and guanine, whereas pyrimides are cytosine, thymine, and thymine is present in deoxyribonucleic acid, whereas it is absent in ribonucleic acid, and instead of thymine and RNA contains the uracil as the nitrogenous base. Uracil as the nitrogenous base. And these are the sugars, ma. Here, observe the structures of this. Here, this is the ribose sugar, okay, and this is the deoxyribose one. Here, at the second position, this is the carbon unit. Here, the lines indicating the carbon ones, ma. Here, the carbon at the second position, and that lacks the oxy group, okay, and that forming the deoxyribose. Deoxy means yeah, lack of oxygen, not hydrogen, ma. Asha, deoxy, yeah, not hydroxyl group, only hydrogen, that means H groups are present. OLAC, yeah, good. Okay, that is deoxyribose and ribose. These are the major sugar units that are present in nucleic acids. Okay, and here these are the new nitrogenous bases component, and here these nitrogenous bases, and when they combine with the sugar, and that forming the units called as okay, Asha, okay. Okay, here, yeah, nucleosides. And nucleosides, when these are combining with phosphoric acid residues, means, yeah, good, nucleotides. Okay, and here, this DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid, and these exist in single stranded conformation and also exist in double stranded conformation. Okay, some of the genomes contain double-stranded DNA as the genetic material and also contain single-stranded DNA as the genetic material. and some of them contains RNA as the genetic material, and that may be single-stranded RNA and double-stranded RNA also present as the genetic material. Here, the main genetic material, mainly the genetic material, and that is mainly exists in the form of deoxyribonucleic acid, and that mainly occurs in the double-stranded DNA. Double-stranded DNA. Here, two strands are present. Here, two strands are present, and one strand runs in 5' to 3' direction. One strand runs in 5' to 3' direction, and another strand runs in 3' to 5' direction. 3' to 5' direction. That is, anti-parallel strands are present in double-stranded DNA. Double-stranded DNA. Understood, ma? And here, this is the backbone. Here, you have to, you can see, ma, here. This is the sugar unit, and it is attached with the 5' phosphoric acid residues. At the fifth position of carbon, here phosphoric acid residues are present. Okay, and this is the sugar phosphate backbone, and that are attaching with the nitrogenous bases, and these nitrogenous bases that forming the hydrogen bonds. Here, adenine combines with the thiamine by forming two hydrogen bonds. Here, see the hydrogen bonds mark. Here, two hydrogen bonds are present. Whereas guanine forms the three hydrogen bonds. Okay, and here also adenine two bonds. And why these three bonds and two bonds are occurring, ma? Why? Because of the structure. Good, Vidushi. Here, because of the structural conformation. Here, observe this one. Here, these are the structures, and that mainly contains. Here, this is the 6 amino group. That is the purine. Here, that forming the thiamine, and that forming the mainly two hydrogen bonds. I will show ma in the next class how these bonds are forming, why two hydrogen bonds are forming, and why three hydrogen bonds are forming. Okay, because of the structural conformation here, mainly two hydrogen bonds are present in between adenine and thymine, whereas three hydrogen bonds are present in between guanine and cytosine. Okay, okay, and here these adjacent nucleotides, and these are joined by the covalent bonds, and that are forming in between the OH group on the 3' carbon of one nucleotide, and the phosphate on the 5' carbon on the next. 5' carbon on the next. Understood, ma? Here, this is the sugar phosphate backbone, and that are uniting with the nucleotides here, and these nucleotides, that means the adjacent nucleotides, how these are joining, and that by the formation of the covalent bonds, and how the covalent bonds are formed here, and that means here the 3' hydroxyl group of one nucleotide combines with the 5' phosphate group of another nucleotide, and that is mainly responsible for the formation of the bond here. Okay, the main covalent bond is formed between the 3' hydroxyl group of one nucleotide and 5' phosphate group of another nucleotide. Okay, you can see here. This is the 3'. This is the 3' carbon. And here, sorry, this is a 3' hydroxyl group, and here the 5' one here, that is forming in the bond. Okay, and these links, these are mainly responsible for creating the backbone of sugar phosphate units with nitrogenous bases. With nitrogen. That means here the backbone is mainly how the bonds are forming in the backbone. Mainly the covalent bonds are mainly responsible for the formation of this backbone. And what are the covalent bonds here? The 3' hydroxyl group of one nucleotide forming the bond with the 5' phosphate group on the other nucleotide. Okay, and here the sequence of bases along the DNA or mRNA polymer, and that is unique for each gene. That means here, for example, if we have to take any gene, that means different types of genes are responsible for passing the information. For example, we are taking some gene, there is a transporter gene, any transport, ABC transporter gene is there. Okay, in that the information is resided in the form of nucleotide bases. Okay, and that sequence of bases, and that is unique for that particular gene, and whereas coming to the RNA molecules, these are normally existing as single polypeptide chains. These are mainly occurring as the single polypeptide chains. Okay, and here these DNA molecules have two poly, that means here anti-parallel direction, here the two polynucleotides are running around an imaginary axis, that is forming the double helical structure. The double helical structure is mainly formed by the polynucleotides, two polynucleotides that are running in anti-parallel direction, and that is mainly responsible for the formation of double helical structure. Okay, in the DNA double helix, one runs in 5' to 3' direction, and the other strand runs in 3' to 5' direction, that is in anti-parallel direction. Okay, here this is the 5' to 3' direction. This is the one nucleotide. That means this is the polynucleotide strand, and this is the another polynucleotide. Okay, here observe the sequence here. What is the sequence that is occurring? For example, this is the 5' means here, and here this is the T, and this nitrogenous base has to pair with the adenine, whereas adenine here this has to pair with the thymine. Next, guanine has to pair with the cytosine. That means here these nitrogenous bases are involving in the formation of hydrogen bonds, and that are running in anti-parallel direction, that are forming the polynucleotides. Okay, and that forming the double helical structure. Okay, here the hydrogen bonds are formed between these nitrogenous bases, and that are called as the complementary base pairing. The pairing between the nitrogenous bases is called as the complementary base pairing. And this complementary base pairing can also occur in between two RNA molecules or between parts of the same molecule also. Whereas in RNA here, the nitrogenous base thymine is mainly replaced by uracil. So, adenine pairs with the uracil. Adenine pairs with the uracil instead of thymine in RNA. Okay, and here this is the sugar phosphate backbone, and here these are the central ones. Here the yellow colored ones are the nitrogenous bases, and that are forming the hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds. Understood ma here? And this DNA, and that causes the transfer of information into the form of mRNA, and that mRNA, and next it encodes the amino acid sequence with the help of the tRNA. With the help of the tRNA. And here this tRNA mainly contains the thymine in place of uracil. Uracil in place of thymine. Sorry ma, uracil in place of thymine. And that is the major difference between this DNA and RNA. The main first difference in the sugar, and that is the DNA contains deoxyribose, whereas RNA contains the ribose sugar. And here coming to the nitrogenous bases, in DNA, thymine is mainly present as the nitrogenous base in pyrimidines. In pyrimidines contains the nitrogenous base as the thymine, whereas RNA contains the nitrogenous base of pyrimidine as uracil. Okay, and that is the another difference between DNA and RNA. And here, and how we why we are studying this genetic material? Because this is mainly responsible for the transmission of character from one generation to another generation. And that means it is providing a link to the evolutionary processes. It is providing a link to evolutionary. That means evolution means, what is meant by evolution, ma'am? What is meant by evolution? Yeah, next generation. That means here transmission of characters from one generation to another. Evolution. Evolution is mainly associated with the changes. Yeah, yeah, that is inheritance. Okay. Changes are appearing from one generation to another generation. That may be in the form of genotypic character and that may be in the form of phenotypic character. Okay, the slow gradual change in an individual that is giving rise to new species. That is called as the evolutionary process. Here, for that evolutionary process, here that genetic material is mainly involved. Genetic material is mainly involved for that evolutionary process. And that genetic material contains mainly linear sequences of nucleotides in DNA molecules and that are passing from parents to the offsprings. And during the evolutionary process, two closely related species and that contains the similar composition of DNA than more distantly related species. And here we are explaining in terms of genetic material means molecular biology and that is mainly involving for the evolutionary relationship between the organisms. Okay, and here that means here this evolutionary process and that is mainly explaining this DNA and RNA structures. And here and that nucleic acid that mainly consists of the nucleoside triphosphate. These are mainly occurring in the monophosphates, diphosphates and triphosphates. Nucleoside triphosphates are the building blocks of the nucleic acids. Okay, and here the nucleotide bases, these are mainly connecting to the C1 prime of the sugar by glycosidic bonds. Here the bases are attached to the sugar by which bond? That means the glycosidic bond is mainly responsible for the bonding of nitrogenous base with sugar units with sugar units. Okay, here we are describing prime. That means we are indicating the number of carbon in terms of prime. And what is meant by prime is the prime distinguish the atoms on the sugar from those on the bases. Here we are also indicating the position of the atoms in nitrogenous base as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and like that. Here also we have to indicate the sugars as 1, 2, 3, 4. But here some confusion arises in between sugar and nitrogenous bases. Hence we are using the term prime here. Okay, here and these are the different monomers and that are appearing in DNA. And here these nitrogenous bases and these are absorbing UV light with an absorption maxima at 260 nanometers. Here, they are showing the absorption at 260 nanometer. I think all of you know about the estimations. Estimation of sugars, estimation of DNA, estimation of RNA, how many of you did these estimations, ma? In biochemical tests, estimations. DNA estimation is there, RNA estimation is there, protein estimation is there. In practicals, these all are coming. Yeah, estimation of glucose by DNA test. Okay. Estimation of DNA by using which method? Which method is used for the estimation of DNA? DNA purity. Okay. How can we check the DNA purity, Asha? Yeah, spectrophotometric method is mainly used for the estimation of DNA purity and RNA purity. And here, depending upon the absorption, here we are estimating. Yeah, good. A260 by A280. Okay. And that is the main method for the determination of purity of DNA and RNA after the extraction of DNA or RNA from different samples. Okay. Remaining ones. Have you done the estimations, Ma? Manasa, Mavunya, Vidushi? No, no. Okay. Okay, Ma, here different methods are mainly used for the determination of this purity, Ma. And that is mainly used the absorption method. Absorption method. That means here calorimetry is there, spectrophotometry is there, and these are mainly used instrument for the determination of the absorption. And that absorption, and depending upon the biomolecules here, the absorption also changing. Here the DNA mainly showing the absorption maxima at 260 nanometer. At the 260 nanometer, the absorption is at 1 means, and that is mainly the pure DNA molecule we extracted. Okay, here for any living organism, the genetic material is present in the form of DNA. And that means, for example, if we have to detect any mutation or if we have to detect any process regarding the DNA, means first we have to extract that DNA or isolation of DNA. Isolation of DNA from plants and from animals, from bacteria. These are the processes that are involved. After the extraction, we have to check the purity, and that for the checking of the purity, we have to determine the absorbance powers. Absorbance power, and that absorption maxima occurs at 260 nanometers for nucleic acids. Okay, and here, these are the elements. Already I discussed these ones now. Here, just observe this one here. And here, in the nucleoside triphosphate, for example, if we take the CTP, that is called as the deoxycytidine triphosphate, 5 prime triphosphate. That means here, the cytosine base is joined to the C. That means the first carbon of the deoxyribose by glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bond. And that means here the nucleoside mainly contains the sugar unit and the base unit. And when it is attached with the phosphoric acid residue means, and that is forming the deoxycytidine 5 prime phosphate. Deoxycytidine 5 prime phosphate. And here among these purines, here guanine, adenine are present, and pyrimidine, cytosine, thymine and uracil are present. Okay, here in the ribose portion, here just referring at the second position of the carbon. Okay, and these are the different types of the nucleic acid. That means if the adenine is present, and that means that is called as a deoxyadenosine. Deoxyadenosine, and that nucleotide is called as a deoxyadenylate. Okay, and here guanine is present, that is called as a deoxyguanylate in the form of nucleotide. That means here these are occurring in the form of phosphates, and cytosine, and that is occurring in the form of deoxycytidine, thymine, deoxythymidine. This is the naming of the nucleosides and nucleotides. Okay, and here these are the simple nucleotides, and when these are arranged, that means here these are forming the covalent bond. That means the C3 prime carbon of one nucleotide, and that is forming the covalent bond with the 5 prime carbon of another nucleotide, means that are forming the polynucleotides. polynucleotides. And in this process, okay, in this process, what is happening? And here, two of the phosphates, and these are last when the base is polymerized into a polynucleotide. That means during the formation of the polynucleotides here, phosphate groups are last. Phosphate groups are last. That means during the combination of the nucleotides, two phosphate groups are lost, and the remaining phosphate groups, and that are forming the main chain, that is the backbone chain. That is the backbone chain. And here this phosphodiester backbone, and that is mainly comprising of deoxyribose, ribose sugar units, and that are bridged by phosphates between 3' and 5' positions of the sugars. Okay, and that are mainly forming the backbone. And here phosphates means these are the negatively charged ones. These are the negatively charged ones, and that means here the nucleic acid carries which charge? Negative charge. That means here these are occurring in the form of polyanions. These are occurring in the form of polyanions. Okay, and that means here the polarity depending upon the direction of synthesis, here mainly the DNA is synthesized in the direction of 5' to 3', and the polarity is mainly defined in terms of 5' to 3' direction. That means here the sequence, the nucleotide information, and that is mainly is encoded in 5' to 3' direction. Okay, and here that forms the polymer formation. In polymer formation, the 3' oxygen attacks the 5' phosphate of a nucleoside triphosphate, and that are releasing the phosphate. Two phosphates are releasing. That means here that in the form of pyrophosphate, in the form of pyrophosphate, and that forming the phosphodiester linkage between, phosphodiester linkage between two nucleosides. Okay, and that means here these are the side chains that are forming the backbone. Whereas in proteins, the amino acids are the building blocks of the proteins. Whereas in carbohydrates, sugar units are the main building blocks. Here also in the nucleic acid, the sugar phosphate, and that is the main backbone of the nucleic acid. Backbone of the nucleic acid. Okay, here we are determining in terms of 5' 3'. That means the direction is followed in terms of 5' to 3' is here. That is beginning at the one side and ending at another side. That means we are determining in terms of 5' and 3'. That are the two ends of the chain. That are the two ends of the chain. Okay. That is the polymer formation. And also here, coming to the chemical stability of this nucleic acid, coming to the chemical stability here, RNA is mainly, that RNA is relatively stable to acids and bases, whereas it is hydrolyzed at only high pH values. Alkaline hydrolysis causing the hydrolysis of only RNA. That means it is mainly stable to acids and bases comparing to DNA. Comparing to DNA. Okay, alkaline catalyzed hydrolysis of RNA. What happens to RNA means here oxygen. That means alkaline catalyzation hydrolysis means what is happening? If water molecules are attached, that means that is combining, that is forming the H plus ions and OH minus ions. And here, and these oxygen, that means the OH minus ion, these are attacking the phosphate groups, and that forming the cleavage of the phosphodiester bond, and that forming the cyclic nucleotides, and that can be easily hydrolyzed by water. And during the hydrolysis of RNA, and these different products are forming by the hydrolysis of RNA. and that process is called as the alkaline hydrolysis. Okay, and in this, here normally we are saying DNA occurring as the helical structure and mainly occurring as a double helical structure. And in this double helical structure, different conformations are present, and that are called as the A conformation is there, B conformation is there, Z conformation. We will discuss that in the next class. Here, the main conformation of the double helical structure is the B conformation. That is called as the bDNA. B conformation of DNA is the main existing helical structure of DNA. In this, the helix and that exists in right-handed direction and the chains are anti-parallel direction. Here, it consists of base space and base space, and that depending upon the number of base pairs, here the rising of base pairs are present, and here per turn, mainly here we are saying this is the structure of DNA. For example, this is the structure of DNA. Okay, and here this is called as the turn. This is called as the turn. Here in the turn, mainly 10 base pairs are present in B helical conformation of the DNA. And also the spacing between the two phosphate chain in the direction of the helix, and that is not uniform, and that contains the wider groups and that contains the minor groups. Okay, and these can be filled with the water and ions. And that means here the helix interior that is containing the nitrogenous bases, and these are filling with the nitrogenous bases means, and that may be in the form of stacked nitrogenous bases. And here the hydrogen bonds that are formed between the nitrogenous bases, and that are called as the Watson-Crick hydrogen bonds, because this model was proposed by the scientists Watson and Crick, and he proposed the helical conformation of the nucleic acid, and he mainly proposed the big helical conformation of the nucleic acid. Okay, and these are the normal characteristic of any helical structure. In the next class, we can discuss what are the these properties. That means tilting, what is tilting, and what is base pair tilting, and what is the angle, what are the base number per turn. Okay, and depending upon that, different conformations are present. Mainly A conformation is there, B conformation is there, Z conformation is there. Okay, and that are the different types of conformation, and depending upon the presence of the nitrogenous bases, here grooves are appearing. That means in depth. That means grooves means what are grooves here? Grooves means make what are grooves? Anyone? Yeah, bends. Okay, here depending upon the number of nitrogenous bases, here grooves are present, and that may be in the form of wider ones, and that may be in the form of narrow ones. Okay, and that is called as the wider groove, that is called as the major groove, whereas the narrower groove, that is called as the minor groove. And these grooves, they can be filled with the water and ions. Okay, and here in the interior of the helical structure, that is mainly filled with the nitrogenous bases that are formed by the hydrogen bond, and that type of hydrogen bonds are called as the Watson and Crick hydrogen bonds. Okay, and depending upon the number of hydrogen bonds, that means depending upon the nitrogenous bases, these are forming the hydrogen bonds. Okay, and here adenine forms the two hydrogen bonds and Crick two hydrogen bonds, and whereas the guanine and cytosine forming the three hydrogen bonds. Okay, that is the double helical structure of DNA. That means here helical structure means that is mainly occurring double helical structure. Okay, and here these are the polymer components here, and we discussed different biomolecules, and in this, what are the polymers? Here, carbohydrates, in carbohydrates, what are the monomeric units? Monosaccharide, and polymeric units are called as the polysaccharide. And what is the type of linkage that is present? Glycosidic linkage. And coming to the lipids, fatty acids are the monomeric units, whereas the polymers are called as the triacylglycerol. And the type of linkage that is present here is ester linkage. And coming to the proteins here, amino acid sequence is present and that forming the polypeptides and that forming the type of bonds called as the peptide bonds. And coming to the nucleic acid, and these nucleic acid consists of monomeric units of nucleotides and that forming the larger molecules of polynucleotides and that forming the linkage of phosphodiester linkage. Okay, and these are the major biomolecules that are present in living organisms. Okay, in the next class, we will discuss about the different conformations of DNA. Okay, ma? Any doubts, ma? Any doubts? Is it clear for all of you? No doubts, Mavunya, okay. Anaga, okay. Vidushi, Manasa, okay. Yeah. Priyama Kumari, are you there, ma? No. Okay. Okay, ma.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So it was really very informative session. So students, if you understood today's stuffs, please comment yes in the comment box. Just let us know. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anaga, Asa, Sivali. Okay, Bidusi. Okay, thank you everyone. So we'll meet tomorrow. Now you can leave the meeting. Thank you everyone. Thank you, ma'am.